Hey there, welcome to Rose. In this video, we'll be talking about our comparisons feature, which allow you to import data from a previous period in reference to the data that you may already have on the data table in Rows. Let's see that in action. First, I'm going to click on our integration option here, then search for an integration to pull in data from. So let's say I'm going to choose Google Analytics as an example, select the right account here, and for the purposes of this demo, choose one of our recommended reports, say the user acquisition one. I'm going to go ahead and delete this particular table as well, just for reference. And you'll notice that the data here that we have is broken down by a different channel group and a whole bunch of different metrics like so. In order to be able to better understand the source, you can always click on the edit option and then source. You'll see that the data that we have here is from the last X days, in this case, the last 28 days, which is perfect. And now to be able to get the comparison data for some of the metrics here, you can click on the back option like so, then select the comparison option here, select a whole bunch of different metrics for which you want the comparison data. Let's say the new users, active users, engaged sessions. In this case, you'll already see the date range has been pre-filled based on the source that we saw earlier. And the compare to dropdown would have a bunch of options like so. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and select the previous period. And once you're happy with the configuration, just hit save changes. And you'll see some of the newer columns being added here. I'm going to go ahead and close this side panel. You'll see that new users, second period, the delta of the new users, and the percentage are like the three columns for this particular metric that have been added here. Similarly for active users, and the same thing you'd see for engaged sessions as well, and not for the other metrics like so. In case you don't wish to have one of these comparisons, you can once again click on the edit option there, comparison, and then just uncheck the metric that you don't want the comparisons for. Let's say the engaged sessions, and hit save changes. And there you go. Those columns have now been removed from your data table like so. Now you may be wondering as to what you can do with these data points. And here are some examples that you could use these data points for. For instance, I'm going to go ahead and select these first couple columns here and go insert and then chart. One of the ways in which you can use this, let's say I'm going to remove the percentage and delta, keep the second period. I'm just going to move that on top, change this to, let's say, column. I'm going to also change the colors. Since it's the previous period, I'm going to make it lighter color, and the current period, I'm going to make that dark. So that's one of the ways in which you can use this data. Well, essentially what this indicates is that direct traffic has decreased in the last, let's say, 28 days in comparison to the previous period to that, and so on and so forth. That's one of the ways in which you could use this data. Here's another example for which I'm going to once again select this data source here, go ahead and insert chart. This time, I'm going to go ahead and delete the new users, the second period. I'm going to keep, let's say, just the percentage. And instead of the line chart, I'm going to make that a column chart like so. The default color is red, which is perfect. And just since we have this in the positive, I'm going to go ahead and change that to green, right? So now this is an indicator of what the percentage change has been for the current and the previous period. And these are some of the ways in which you could use these data points and build different charts and reporting on top of this. A quick note on the data set is that the comparison cannot be done on non-numerical or date values, if you will. And here's what I mean by that. For this, I'm going to go ahead and remove the comparison for now, just as an example, and go back here, select the source, change the dimension from channel group to, let's say, date as an example. And I'm going to hit save changes, and you'll see that this data has now been transformed where the data is broken by date. I'm going to move this date column all the way to the left so it's easier to understand. And if you now try to add comparison to this, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and click comparison. Let's say once again, I'm going to select new users or active users, engaged sessions compared to, let's say, the previous period, and hit save changes. And you'd see that the comparison not possible with the following reason like so. I hope this video helps, and thanks for watching.